Your Highness? Sir? Sir? Oh, yes. I do apologize for entering like this without your permission, but, I used my judgment to deem it was necessary, because it is 2 a.m., sir, and as your schedule says, you were supposed to be in bed by 10 p.m., so I cannot help but to express my concern over this. Please do forgive me, but I must refute that. You don't look the greatest right now. You look tired. If I may ask, what are you even working on? Well, yes, work, but work for what? Oh, you do have that meeting tomorrow, yes, but what about it that are you working on? You could give that to me and I could work on it. A speech? Yes, you do have to give a speech to the council, but I thought that was already finished. Double checking. Oh. But your Highness doesn't know that you could just give it to one of the librarians, right? They can check over it and make any edits that is necessary. Yes, they are currently on break, but that doesn't mean you can't go to them, and if you do not want to bother them, to which I cannot blame you, you could go to any librarian, and I'm sure they're willing to take you. Always the considerate one. Well, I would dare say that they wouldn't mind. They would go out their way to do it for your Highness. But you're not using your privilege. It is a service provided by libraries. You're not using your privilege. And if you were a normal person, I'm sure they would take you in too. It is their jobs. So, don't be too ashamed of yourself. Please, do think about this tomorrow, later today. Just for now, you really should go to bed. Okay, so you tried and now you're here. What do you need? Is there anything you need? You seem to have all that you could want so far. You have water. You seem to have finished your snack that you could have called me for. I would have gotten that for you. Oh, if you needed noise, you could just use your phone or any other device and just play a video. A video to your liking, like those new thing called ASMR. You could do that. What do you mean it's not the same? You want it live? Well, I suppose that does make sense. It does feel a bit better when it's live. Well, if I could offer, Your Highness, I could attempt to read you a story, if that is up to your liking. Though I must admit, I'm not that great with reading. Well, when I say that, I don't mean I don't know how to read. I just tend to stutter my way through it sometimes because I stumble. And also, I'm more of a history nerd, so I will most likely choose a history book or an article, depending how long you want it to be. And I don't wish to bore you. I apologize for making this about myself, sir. Well, thank you, but it is not my duty to talk about myself. Well, as your servant, your butler, it is just unprofessional. Well, if you told me to do that, like give you my life story, then I would be willing, since it is your request. Though I must say, please don't request it now, because I am not prepared for it. Please don't be so cruel. Thank you. Well, yeah, let's just get you to bed. Just over there. Just take a seat over here. So, let's see. What could I read you? You will get so bored of this, I apologize. Let me look through the Royal Library. Ah, perfect. How about this? Elizabeth I of England. She was actually the reason why I've gotten into history. Her whole family was the Tudor dynasty. Yes. Oh, it's so full circle, isn't it? I became interested in history because of a royal. Well, to be fair, I've gotten into history because of the Titanic and also royals. And here am I, serving a royal. It's certainly like a full circle moment. Are you ready? All right. Once again, if it's too long, I apologize. I specifically found one that is relatively short. It's not going to take me an hour or 30 minutes. I don't think so. And if I do ramble, because I might add in some facts, then stop me, of course, if you so wish. Where do I start? Let's see. There, all right. Elizabeth, I'm gonna stutter so hard. I'm so sorry, Your Highness. And stumble. All right. Elizabeth I, the last Tudor monarch, was born at Greenwich on the 7th of September 1533, the daughter of Henry VIII and his second wife, Anne Boleyn. I need water. I'm getting nervous, sorry. Her early life was full of uncertainties, and her chances of succeeding to the throne seemed very slight once her half-brother Edward was born in 1537. She was then third in line behind her Roman Catholic half-sister Princess Mary. Roman Catholics indeed always considered her illegitimate, and she only narrowly escaped execution in the wake of a failed rebellion against Queen Mary in 1554. Elizabeth succeeded to the throne on her half-sister's death in November 1558. 1558. She was very well educated, fluent in 5 languages, and had inherited intelligence, determination, and shrewdness from both parents. Her 45-year reign is generally considered one of the most glorious in English history. During it, a secure Church of England was established. Its doctrines were laid down in the 39 Articles of 1563, a compromise between Roman Catholicism and Protestantism. Elizabeth herself refused to make windows into men's souls. There's only one Jesus Christ, and all the rest is a dispute over trifles. She asked for outward uniformity. Most of her subjects accepted the compromise as the basis of their faith, and her church settlement probably saved England from religious wars like those which France suffered in the second half of the 16th century. Although autocratic and capricious, Elizabeth had astute political judgment and chose her ministers well. Those included William Cecil, later Lord Burleigh, Secretary of State Sir Christopher Hatton, Lord Chancellor, and Sir Francis Walsingham, in charge of intelligence and also Secretary of State. Overall, Elizabeth's administration consisted of some 600 officials administering the great offices of state, and similar number dealing with the crown lands, which funded administrative costs. Social and economic regulation and law and order remained in the hands of the sheriffs at local level, supported by unpaid justices of the peace. Justices. Ugh. Elizabeth's reign also saw many brave voyages of discovery, including those of Francis Drake, Walter Raleigh, and Humphrey Gilbert, particularly to the Americas. These expeditions prepared England for an age of colonization and trade expansion, which Elizabeth herself recognized by establishing the East India Company at the very end of 1599. The arts flourished during Elizabeth's reign. Country houses such as Longleat and Hardwick Hall were built. Miniature painting reached its high point. Theatres thrived. The Queen attended the first performance of Shakespeare, A Midsummer's Night Dream. I actually did read that. Composers such as William Byrd and Thomas Tallis worked in Elizabeth's court and at the Chapel Royal, St. James Palace. The image of Elizabeth's reign is one of triumph and success. The Queen herself was often called Gloriana, Good Queen Bess, and the Virgin Queen. Good Queen Bess and the Virgin Queen was the nicknames that I first knew of her. Anyway, investing in expensive clothes and jewelry to look the part like all contemporary sovereigns, she cultivated this image by touring the country in regional visits known as progresses. That's actually what you're going to do soon, often riding on horseback rather than carriage. Elizabeth made at least 25 progresses during her reign. However, Elizabeth's reign was one of considerable danger and difficulty for many, with threats of invasion from Spain through Ireland and from France through Scotland. Much of northern England was in rebellion in 1569-70. A papal bull of 1570 specifically released Elizabeth's subjects from their allegiance, and she passed harsh laws against Roman Catholics after plots against her life were discovered. One such plot involved Mary, Queen of Scots, who fled to England in 1568 after her second husband, Henry, Lord Darnley's murder, and her subsequent marriage to a man believed to have been involved in his murder, James, Earl of Bothwell. As a likely successor to Elizabeth, Mary spent 19 years as Elizabeth's prisoner because Mary was the focus of rebellion and possible assassination plots, such as the Babington plot of 1586. Mary was also a temptation for potential invaders, such as Philip II of Spain. In a letter of 1586 to Mary, Elizabeth wrote, "You have planned ... to take my life and ruin my kingdom. I never proceeded so harshly against you." Despite Elizabeth's reluctance to take drastic action, on the insistence of Parliament and her advisers, Mary was tried, found guilty, and executed in 1587, and I believe I saw a film of that, a scene of the execution. It was very brutal. It was a specific movie. No, it's not the newest one. Actually, I don't know. It was one with Helen Mirren. And goodness, that scene was very graphic. It showed the axe actually slicing, and all the botched things about it. Anyway, sorry. In 1588, aided by bad weather, the English navy scored a great victory over the Spanish invasion fleet around of 130 ships. The Spanish Armada, was intended to overthrow the Queen and re-establish Roman Catholicism by conquest, as Philip II believed he had a claim to the English throne through his marriage to Mary, not Mary, Queen of Scots, but to her half-sister, Mary I of England. During Elizabeth's long reign, the nation also suffered from high prices, severe economic depression, especially in the countryside. During the 1590s, the war against Spain was not very successful. After Armada had been beaten and together with other campaigns, it was very costly. Though she kept a tight rein on government expenditure, Elizabeth left large debts to her successor. Wars during Elizabeth's reign are estimated to have cost £5 million at the prices at the time, which crown revenues could not match. In 1588, for example, Elizabeth's total annual revenue amounted to some £392. Would you like me to stop? Your eyes are kind of drooping a little bit. Am I boring you? Oh, right, sorry. This is the point. Yes, I shall keep going. It's almost done, I swear. All right. Despite the combination of financial strains and prolonged war after 1588, Parliament was not summoned more often. There were only 16 sittings of the Commons during Elizabeth's reign, 5 of which were in the period of 1588 to 1601. Although Elizabeth freely used her power to veto legislation, she avoided confrontation and did not attempt to define Parliament's constitutional position and rights. Elizabeth chose never to marry, hence the name the Virgin Queen. If she had chosen a foreign prince, he would have drawn England into foreign policies for his own advantages, as in her sister's marriage to Philip II of Spain. Marrying a fellow countryman also could have drawn the Queen into factional infighting. Elizabeth used her marriage prospects as a political tool in a foreign and domestic policies. However, the Virgin Queen was presented as a selfless woman who sacrificed personal happiness for the good of the nation, to which she was, in essence, married. So, in other words, she married England. Late in her reign, she addressed Parliament in the so-called Golden Speech of 1601, and it is actually written. You could read that yourself. I would read it right now, but goodness, it had I'm sorry, sir. It had Elizabethan English, and it's a bit difficult to read. But, when she told MPs, "There's no jewel, be it of never so high a price, which I set before this jewel, I mean your love," she seems to have been very popular with the vast majority of her subjects. Overall, Elizabeth's always shrewd and, when necessary, decisive leadership brought success during a period of great danger, both at home and abroad. She died on Richmond Palace on the 24th of March, 1603, having become a legend in her lifetime. The date of her accession was a national holiday for 200 years. James VI of Scotland was Elizabeth's successor and became James I of England. And I might also add, James I/6th of Scotland was the son of the executed Mary, Queen of Scots. So, goodness, look at you. You're so tired. I'm glad my little story time did help a little bit, sir. Don't apologize. Of course I don't care. I don't mind. I don't mind doing this. If it's to serve you and your well-being, I wouldn't mind. I would do anything for you, sir. That is my oath to the crown and you. I'm sorry? Yes, I genuinely do believe you will be such a great king. You may be the next Queen Elizabeth. You may not have the fiery temper as her. Well, I don't know, you might. But you are kind, and also just when necessary. I truly believe you are prepared for this role. When your father does, forgive me for stating this, but eventually go, you will make a wonderful monarch. You're a hard worker. Sometimes you do procrastinate, but what matters most is that you get the job done, even if it does take a while. Well, actually, no. You are a hard worker. You procrastinate a lot, but yet it gets done on time, which is necessary. You are a great comfort to the people, popular with them, just like she was. You know how to heal divisions. Be merciful when necessary, and once again just. Don't doubt yourself. Sure, you may be in a line of successive monarchs who either had successful reigns or not so good ones. And yes, you do wear the crown that they all wore. But remember, they're not here anymore. It is your crown for now. And it is up to you to make your own legacy. Inspired by the past, of course, but your own nonetheless. It is your life, and you must own it. Be good and just. Show mercy when necessary, and show justice when necessary. You know, forgive me for stating something personal again, but I honestly didn't think you were this... trying to think of the word. I didn't think you were not this confident of yourself, honestly. I always thought you were pretty self-assured. Yes, that is also a part of the job. To appear self-assured, even if you're not yourself. It is a sad thing of kings and queens. They must appear self-assured, even if they are not so. When you appear to your people, soon to be your people, it must be difficult to just try to keep a steady face and not to show much emotion at all. And I know it probably hurts to even make decisions that could hurt someone, even if it is necessary. It is a hard thing to do about leadership, is that sometimes you will have to hurt someone, even if it's a person close to you. Oh, don't say that. Look, if there's ever a time when you become king, and you must, let's just say, get rid of me, whether that mean firing me or not so pleasant ways, then I'm willing to take it for you. As long as it means your reign will be successful, I'm willing to give up my life for you and to my God. So, please, don't hesitate. You must be self-assured in yourself. For the good of the kingdom, of course, and your people. You live in a time where monarchs are seen as useless, but they're not, especially when you become king. You are in a position above politics. You are in a position where the people look up to you for guidance, to be the father figure of the nation. You are in a position where even politicians have to look up to you because you're above them. You're better than them. You console the people and the politicians. The people look to you for guidance, like I said, and comfort. For when their government fails, they will look to you for comfort and guidance. And for when the government fails, you must show justice to that government. Give righteous judgment to the government, but show kindness when necessary, as I said. You must be kind and just. Don't forget that. I know my words sound repetitive, but it's pretty much that. You must be kind and just. The people will look up to you, even the people who may not seem to care much about you. They will certainly look to you for guidance for something. You are, once again, a position above it all. So, if you think you're not necessary, or if the people don't think you're necessary, show them that you are. Show them that you are needed in this time. What are the chances of an elected bureaucrat having genuine will to the people? After all, if they do something wrong, they can get prosecuted, or they could lose an election, or exiled, or flee if they are so cowardly. But your support lies purely on the people. If you lose trust of the people, sure, you could try to leave, but they will want your head. So you have no other choice but to be for the people. Unless you want your head on a plate. To put it quite frankly, I apologize for that. Yes, it is true. You don't need me to tell you about it, I know. You see it in history. When the monarch does not show their support for the people, or lose the people's trust, they're gone, whether they're exiled or executed. And I would rather not see any of the outcomes for you. So, Your Majesty, sir, sorry, Your Highness, you're not a king yet. I cannot help myself. I'm quite excited for when it comes. Do rest well, and I'll be here in the morning when you wake up. Right. Good night, Your Highness. I was about to say Your Majesty again. Good night. So, that was that audio. Yes, it was a Butler audio. Comfort audio. Yeah. I'm in a pretty English history mood again. A lot of the things I said during that, specifically about the facts, about me getting into history because of royal history and also the Titanic. Yeah, that's true. I did get into history in elementary school because of the Titanic and Tudor history, English history in general. It's just so fascinating to me. And I still am. I've just broadened my scopes more. I'm not just interested in English history anymore, but also French, German, Austrian, Italian, even Turkish history, a little bit. I am starting to delve into Asian history. And, of course, American history. So yeah, I'm really glad of that because sometimes it does help me with audio creation, especially with royal audios, because I can pull back from history and just think about aspects of it. And not to put myself on a high horse, but some people who make royal audios tend to get some of the facts wrong about royalty, making them seem like tyrants. Now, not saying there cannot be a tyrant as a monarch, there can, but always portraying them as such, or always portraying them in a good light. So, I try to keep it balanced, hence why at the end I was saying you gotta be just and kind, because you will have to make a hard choice as a ruler. Anyway, I'm yapping again. Oh no. But it's okay. I know some of y'all like this, and if y'all don't, you probably won't even make it this far anyway. Now, with that being said, thank you all for listening. If you do like this audio, please like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will see you all in the next audio. Bye-bye. I'm almost going to hit 30 minutes again. Oof.